that you have to pay for. Now you say, well, how much would something like that cost for that particular style of packaging? Well, it can range anywhere from 30 cents to $2 or even more. It really simply depends on what you choose to pay for and what's the most important to you. Maybe you don't want to carry this special type of packaging but only at Valentine's Day. Or if this is how your company is branded, then you have to consider those costs. But everything you do, there's a fee associated with it. Even with going with private labels. So when you go to a particular contract manufacturing company, you say, okay, I would like to have this particular shade and this is what I want on it. I want it to say, let's call it Clean Cosmetics. I want it to say Clean Cosmetics, and I want it hot stamped, and I want the sticker, and I want all the bells and whistles that you have for this particular shade. Well, the original equipment manufacturer may say, okay, well, we have a product minimum, and to fill this one shade, there may be a minimum as high as 5,000 or as low as 1,000, depending on the contract manufacturer you choose to go with. Most times it's 5,000, anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 to get one shade filled. So just imagine, if the cost of that particular style of eyeshadow cost you $1 and you need 5,000 of them, you know the math, that's $5,000 for one shade. Or a typical cosmetic line has at least 4 shades, so you're talking about 4 times 5. And of course, if you go to China, it might be a little bit cheaper and they may have a lower minimum, something more along the lines of 500 to 1,000. But even if you're paying for that, and let's say each shadow costs you, let's say roughly 50 cents a piece per eyeshadow, then you're still talking about 50 cents times 500 times however many shades of different color eyeshadows that you choose to have. Now, even in that eyeshadow, you have to pay for the type of coverage you want that eyeshadow to have. Do you want it to have more pigmentation? Should it have less talc, no talc, small amounts of talc? I mean, what do you want? Do you want it to be glitter? Do you want it to be creamy? You know, what kind of textures do you want? And once again, that goes back into cost. So everything that you get when you're getting this one product is associated a fee. And so it's not as simple as it seems. Now, let's just assume you say, oh, well, that's just way too expensive of an option. What other option do I have? Well, your other option is to utilize what is called private label. And once again, I mentioned it earlier when I talked about Lady Bird. But even with Lady Bird, they have a minimum that you are required to purchase as long as you have a tax ID number. The only problem with that is you have to acquire a tax ID number. When you acquire a tax ID number, remember, you must file taxes on the products that you purchase, because you also have to remember that it is a wholesale company. So if you're purchasing products from this particular wholesale seller, you do have to claim that in taxes, okay? Yes, you may have a small amount to purchase, and yes, only so much is taxable, but also you have to remember Lady Bird is a business in itself. So if so many people come there and say, okay, well, that's all I have to do is get a tax ID number and buy so much dollars worth of product, well, that kind of hurts the person or the retailer that is trying to actually have a legitimate business. Because what ends up happening is a company like Lady Bird, because it's so large, could easily cut out the middleman and say, I tell you what, we've got all these people purchasing makeup at $150. That's a good price point. I tell you what, we'll just cut out the middle guy and we'll just sell it ourselves at a markup price. Why do we need a middle person? So that's why companies like those exist, because they're able to give it to you through a particular retailer or reseller of their makeup at a discount. That's why we have wholesale. But, you know, once again, It's your choice how you want to pursue obtaining your makeup, but I caution you because that is a dangerous route to take eventually if everybody tries to do that. But anyway, now another thing I wanted to address is, do private label companies really offer custom formulations for cosmetic companies? And the answer to that question is yes. Any place you go to, whether it be Lady Bird or whether you go to some other contract manufacturer, you can get anything you choose custom manufactured. And yes, the chemists are there available for you. If you want to make makeup for darker skin types, Lady Bird offers that service for you. But once again, there is an OEM minimum. You always have minimums. If you want to come out with a particular type of makeup, say you want to do like Touche Clay, and you want to come up with a particular highlighter for the face, once again, there is a cost assessed with that. You have to pay for packaging, you have to pay for the whatever minimums they have, cost to be filled. All those things require you to pay more money. And once again, that can run upwards of $3,000 and up. It just depends on what you're willing to pay. And of course, to get lab time with a chemist can run anywhere from $2,400 and up, just to kind of give you some idea about lab time. Another thing you need to be aware about is that, I know on the surface, companies like Bitch Slap Cosmetics, Medusa, Forever Glam Cosmetics seem as though they're just slapping their names onto these products and trying to jip consumers with those products. But honestly, in all honesty, it's just not that easy. Those companies, if they are doing it smartly, can actually take their products, and after making so much money, if they desire to come up with new shades of colors or glitters or whatever it is they're trying to do, they can get more custom, and you can get products that, say, no other cosmetic company can have. But once again, when you're a small startup, you're not necessarily going to go to a contract manufacturer and try to get those products at a, discount necessarily, because it's not going to happen. Even companies like Sugar Peel, it's completely customized. The boxes are customized. Even though the product is not necessarily customized, she probably went to some company over in another country and was able to get that filled at a custom rate. Doesn't necessarily mean that those shades are customized specifically for her company, because there are other companies that make the same shades. It's just so many makeup companies out there, we don't know all about them. So, those are things that you have to consider. But like I said, if you have any other questions about any of the things that I've said today, feel free to comment in the comment box below my screen. Also, I did a little simple smoky eye look for you all today, and I hope you enjoy it. I do have pictures at the end of this particular video, and I do have a part 2 that talks about talking about how to sell your products so that you are actually making profit. So we'll talk about that in part 2 of this particular series of discussing the business side of makeup. This is your girl, P. Clemens 19. Hopefully you'll rate, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much, and you have a good one. Bye.